get into what should be some of the best news in athletic history, right? Like, this should be the best news in athletic history. California started this about a couple weeks ago where they said, hey, NCAA athletes, maybe we can't pay them, but they should at least be able to get paid off their likeness, do commercials, advertising, stuff like that, right? It's fair. Hey, we can't pay you guys per se because your pay, quote unquote, is the scholarship, but if Jalen Hurts wants to be in a commercial or Trevor Lawrence can get paid off his likeness in some way or form, he should be allowed to do that. And now, come a couple weeks forward, there's been, and I've been following the story. I haven't been updating on here really as it's been going on, but a couple more politicians that have gotten involved, and the more things involved in the process, we are at a point now where the NCAA has approved it for all 50 states for college athletes to be paid for their likeness. And the joke on the internet yesterday is everybody was, and really joke / some serious, everyone's like, oh, awesome, now we get NCAA back. Because that was the thing, is that NCAA, the video game, we weren't allowed to have because you would have to pay the player something because you're literally using their likeness to make a profit, and that wasn't okay. So now we can get NCAA, the video game, back, and there's other things that can happen now, and it should be fair for everyone, right? That should be the goal. I want to take a second and say let's calm down. And first off, I am pro NCAA players being able to get paid off likeness. I'm even to some degree, I'm probably pro giving them some kind of paycheck / tuition. If you're generating the amount of money they generate, I think it's okay to get, compensated for some of that, especially if you're like football and you literally generate billions of dollars and you are putting your career at risk and your life at risk really for university that all they can do is give you a $1 or $2 million insurance policy. I mean, look at Zion. Zion was one of the biggest NBA stars that are prospects coming into the league. And while he was at Duke, it was already known. It's like, oh, he's going to be a National Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, all this stuff. One of the best, the most hyped up prospects since LeBron James. And he had like a $5 million insurance policy. $6 million, like something that wasn't really justify what he could have possibly lost when what happened with his shoe. Because Zion's got have you seen his Nike deal? Have you seen an NBA rookie contract? Have you seen the other advertisements they've already put with him in New Orleans? That insurance money, not covering near the amount what he has been able to obtain had he lost that. Now, once again, I'm super pro these guys getting paid off their likeness. And the reason I am pro these guys getting paid off their likeness, because unless, I don't know if there's an unless, when you are the NCAA, and the only thing you really have to do is pay for referees and punish people. And even the punishing is subjective because the university still has a right over the NCAA, where the NCAA is kind of like this referral program. So it's kind of like the person who says, hey, you see that kid over there? He stole cookies out of the cookie jar. You're his dad, you should punish him. The universities are still the parents. The NCAA is just the referral. Like, hey, now in some situations, yes, I understand. They can step in, they can do stuff, and they can tell guys, hey, you can't play, but those are in extreme situations. No business on this planet is able to have the greatest free employee workforce that generates billions of dollars. There's something called a nonprofit company, which a nonprofit company is, hey, I give food, we're either like a restaurant and we make food and we give away a lot of our food. We give away our food to the homeless, or we give away our food to the schools, or we're giving our food away to whoever we decide to give it away to. And we give away And we don't make a profit per se. Or you give away enough to offset your profit. Now there's the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, they are non-profit. And that's because every single game they're giving away food. At the end of it, they're giving away supplies, clothes. All that stuff is getting donated. And they donate a certain amount and cross the threshold into non-profit. But they pay their employees millions of dollars. That's the athletes. And then they pay millions of dollars for the people working in the stands, security, refs, yada yada. The NCAA is like, what do you mean we got to pay these guys? We're just going to generate the billions of dollars, and they don't need a paycheck. They have a scholarship. Of course, why would you pay them? They get a scholarship. Why pay them? Except that they're very well aware of the system as well, especially in a sport like college basketball, where I'm going to generate the amount of money Zion Williamson and Anthony Davis, John Wall, Derrick Rose, the amount of money these guys generate in one season, and understand, it's their choice to leave and go to the NBA, but that means this scholarship, and let's say the scholarship is, and I don't know the exact number, so don't kill me here, if the scholarship is $4 million, $1 million a year, just keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. If the scholarship is $4 million, and I've only got to honor $1 million of it because the guy is leaving after this year, yeah. There was no one who would turn down, okay, so I pay $1 million, and this guy himself is going to bring in $50 million, $100 million. It's a no-brainer. The NCAA has gotten away with the most absurd, it's not even representative of a kind of a workforce. The amount of workforce, not representation, the amount of workforce, oh my gosh, sorry, let me calm myself down. Time out. What they've gotten away with a workforce that generates as much as they do, and to pay as little as they do in terms of paying for scholarships, it's a joke. Now, I say all that, and I am worried because there's people who know better than I do. I'm not the college guy. Tony's our college guy here at HardFoul. But know better than I do say, hey, it's not done yet. This is a good first step, but slow your roll. But I think it is, to be fair, a very good first step. Bleep the NCAA. My grandma watches these videos. I don't want to cuss too much, guys. Transitioning from NCAA to Major League Baseball. And I got something coming up after our first break where I'm normally the old crusty guy about sports. And I've very much been the NBA was better back when I was watching it growing up, or the NFL was better back in 2015 for me, never won a Super Bowl. But I've always been that guy to a degree, even though I'm really not old enough to be that guy. But I'm not that guy with Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is in a great spot right now, even if they can't market a star to save their life. But speaking of a star, Steven Strasburg is a star. Steven Strasburg is exactly what you want your first overall pick to be. Steven Strasburg came into Major League Baseball, and if you're old enough to remember this, there was never been the kind of hype. Even his own teammate Bryce Harper did not draw the kind of hype that Steven Strasburg drew. Steven Strasburg came, as soon as he was drafted, people were like, get him to Major League Baseball. You see this kid? Hit those 97 miles an hour, 6 slider, wicked curveball, crazy changeup. And he wasn't coming from a powerhouse. He was at SDSU. SDSU, that's not a powerhouse for baseball. Steven Strasburg, if you need to draft your first overall pick, you want a guy that's going to be, A, dependable at the very least. You want a guy that's going to be consistent. And you want a guy that can flat out take over games. Steven Strasburg is now 5-0 in this postseason. Steven Strasburg is 2-0 in this World Series. He made a comment earlier this World Series after Game 2, and he said, every year, sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw. This year, we are that buzzsaw. Or we might be that buzzsaw. I'm not saying the Nationals are going to win Game 7, and as a matter of fact, I don't think they are, but I'll get into that later. Strasburg has been every bit the number 1 overall pick. Every time, to me, in order to be, without entering the all-time pantheon great of top 5 to top 10 players ever, we're starting to get into, it's rare you're going to get Magic and he goes first overall and you get 5 titles with him, or you get LeBron, you get 3 titles, or you get Brady even being 6th round, you get 6 titles. Those are the anomalies. If you're a franchise, you get a first overall pick. If you get a decade of great out of him, you should be happy. The Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw, who was a first-round pick, maybe the best regular season pitcher of our life. And every time they want Clayton Kershaw to step up and be that guy in the playoffs, well, my girlfriend's a Dodger fan, and she'll tell you it hasn't worked out. On a team with Strasburg, Harper, all the talent Washington's had over Strasburg's run, this guy has still been their best pitcher. This guy, when they've needed him to do it, and last night they needed him to do it, gave him a fantastic start. John Smoltz, who, if you don't know, is pretty good himself and has had some pretty good in historic games, said that is the best not only Strasburg has been, but that is all you can ask for out of a starting pitcher in that situation. And if the Nationals go on to win this World Series, Strasburg was not only came out the gates great, has been consistent, he will give you that moment that justified everything about him being the number 1 overall pick. That is Strasburg winning. If the Nationals win, for context here, the Nationals win Game 7. What Strasburg did last night is what LeBron did for Cleveland, winning a title against Golden State. The Astros, regardless, and like I said, I do think they win. I think the Astros win. But the Astros are the best team in Major League Baseball over this 3-year span. If they win this World Series, they'll be in talks for a dynasty. And if they don't win, Strasburg is the reason why. Strasburg buzzsawed a potential Houston dynasty with every bit of his number 1 overall pick status.